Do you think that the average American that Benghazi is even still a word that's in their consciousness?
Okay, so two things about that. Number one, Fox News, of course, doesn't care about reality, doesn't care about the facts, doesn't care that President Obama didn't do anything wrong in Benghazi.
This I know.
All they care about is PR, the $124 million of ads, in essence, through Fox News against the Democrats and President Obama. So they just pile on, pile on, pile on. As John pointed out, no one knows, nobody's even talking about this report that cleared them. So if you go to the average American and you say Benghazi, they'll say, yeah, President Obama's fault.
Really?
No,
so?
I think,
so
first of all—
I'm in the minority for thinking, like, this is all bullshit propaganda that's just trying to distract people, and it doesn't matter.
No, the only part I disagree with is the end. So now here's the thing. If you get asked, my guess is 8.5 out of 10 Americans would say, Benghazi, secretly between me and you, I don't really give a shit. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, but if you said, okay, but given that, who do you think was at fault at Benghazi? 9 out of 10, well, that's not fair because some Democrats will defend Obama, but a significant majority, 7 out of 10, will say, oh, it was Obama's fault.
Really?
Well, I think so because they don't know that the House Intelligence Committee cleared them. All they know is Benghazi, Benghazi, Benghazi.
It's
like who else is at fault? I mean, you see the framing of the question?
Anywhere near the United States was at fault in this.
Yeah. I know, but nobody knows that.
It's just crazy to me.
Something that may support what you're saying is, I totally agree with you, that's why we cover it, is that so many people falsely believe that either Obama or Kerry or whoever, Hillary Clinton, did something wrong. I do think if you asked conservative Republicans in America, many of them would say, yeah, I'm familiar with Benghazi, damn Obama, that son of a bitch, she fucked up. Now the question is, does that actually affect how they vote? Probably not. They already hated Obama, I would imagine. I don't think that it's really affecting them. But, and we also have to bear in mind, we covered this a few months ago. It was very interesting. They did a survey and they asked people stuff about Benghazi, and then they asked them what country it was in. Most of them had no effing clue what country it was in. They thought it was in the Caribbean or South America or Russia or something like that.
Same people who think that Obama is a Kenyan and that 9/11 was an inside job.
No, but you have to remember, independents are not what the pundits in Washington say they are. Like really deliberate, thoughtful Americans who are weighing both sides of the issue. Yeah. No, they're people who generally don't follow politics. Nothing against them, they just don't follow politics. So all this stuff is nothing but just ads. So it's ads that go to their head, and they don't know that there's nothing behind Benghazi. Look, that's $124 million worth of ads, the equivalent of that in just 2 weeks. But in reality, they've been doing this for 2 years. That's billions of dollars of ads saying that Obama is wrong on Benghazi, the IRS, Fast and the Furious, all disproven. Every single one of those disproven massively, but they all count as negative advertising. Sure. Obama's bad, Obama's bad, Obama's bad.
To a specific demographic. But when we talk about the equal and opposite networks on the air right now, there is not much conversation about Benghazi. After this report was released, we're not seeing a lot of media coverage at all on either sides. Do you think that that's because the Democratic Party, or I should say not even the Democratic Party line, but the mainstream kind of liberal media line has just been, if we treat it like a non-issue, it will go away because we shouldn't be giving it any conversation.
They didn't talk about it before, so...
I think they talked about it before.
No, I mean, Fox talked about it. 95% of the talk about it was in conservative media outlets led by Fox.
I mean, they didn't talk about it to the extent that they talked about it to an extent that it warranted talking about it.
Right, and now that this thing came out, it's hard to find a story about it, to be honest. I mean, I'm trying to look at stories to find out when the Select Committee is going to issue its report.
Yeah, this is Media Matters. This is like a
so barely anybody came out with it. And by the way, you can't find one Republican quoted. I mean, the Republicans lead. Obviously, the Intelligence Committee is not as weighted as other committees, but it's still led by Republicans because they control the House. And every quote here is from a Democrat. There's no Republican. They issued that report on a Friday, a week ago today.
Yeah, it was like in a news dump,
and then they scooted out for the weekend, and nobody's been available. And it doesn't appear that anybody followed it up this week by going to the chairman of the committee and saying, so.
Yeah, but this goes to our New York Times discussion, right? I think that they owe it to people after this huge, long conversation to run headlines on every one of these to say, Republican-led House Intelligence Committee says absolutely no wrongdoing on Benghazi. On the IRS scandal, they should have done the same exact thing. It turns out huge headline, IRS also investigated progressives, no scandal whatsoever.
Yes, and the editorial line should be, let's put this to bed.
Yeah, right. So that we can finally focus on Voltramax.